Hello everybody, boys and girls. I hope everyone is enjoying their time at home. As we know, the circumstances right now are a little bit different with the classroom, but the Ministry of Education and teachers around Dominica are committed to doing everything in our power to ensure that you get quality education. This morning, I will be presenting to you structure of expository writing. Now, I know when I said writing, I'm sure there is a little boy or girl somewhere who sighed, because generally children do not like writing. But like I tell my students, writing is a subject you should really embrace. And the reason for that is because writing is one of the only subjects or the topics where you get a chance to give the teacher information. Most times we come to a classroom, we give you the content, we give you work to do, and then you do an activity. But when it comes to writing, you are free to give us a little bit of what's going on in your head. So I really think that you should, if you have a little dislike for writing, you should really try to change that, okay? Because writing is actually your way of even surprising and giving teachers a little bit of what's going on in your head, as I said. Okay, so here I have expository writing, but I want to make it clear that expository writing is not the only form of writing that exists. I'm sure, especially the grade 6 students around the island, you have been exposed to narrative writing, descriptive writing, you have been exposed to persuasive writing, argumentative writing. So expository writing is just one of the many different types of writing that you will come across. So today, note that we are only focusing on expository and the structure of that writing, okay? The objective of today's lesson is to identify the general structure of a 5-paragraph expository essay and what you normally call a composition. Now, I want to make it clear that even if I say a 5-paragraph essay, I'm not saying that you are restricted to write a composition that is only 5 paragraphs. But we know that sometimes in the exam you have a certain amount of time, 40 to 45 minutes, and so it's kind of safe if you try to stick within a 5-paragraph range, okay? But if you're a very good writer and you feel like you can give more, you are free to do so, okay? But for today, we are going to focus on the structure of a 5-paragraph essay or composition. All right. So what exactly is an expository essay? As I initially said, it is one of the main types of writing, and the information in an expository piece has to be factual. That means it generally has to be the truth, okay? When we look at, for example, narrative writing, we know we give you the leeway to write from your experience, to write from your imagination. But when it comes to expository writing, you have to make sure that that information is factual. In fact, you can even research about the expository topic before you write, okay? Normally you get a narrative and you just write. But in many cases, even when you go to high school, those of you in primary school, you may be given a topic in advance and you may have to research because the information in expository writing is generally factual, all right? And what does it do? It seeks to explain, it seeks to inform, it seeks to tell why, it seeks to tell how. Okay, let me just go over that again. It seeks to explain, and if you look at the two words, you will see explain and expository similar. Again, information, it seeks to inform, it seeks to tell why, and I am dead certain that this one rang a bell, because even as early as grade 3, I'm sure many of you all have been given the opportunity to write a story or an essay, or as we say, a composition, where you were to explain how you did something, how to make juice, how to play your favorite game. Okay, so this is what expository writing is all about. Okay. Now, what are the different types of expository writing? Now, if you go online, you may find more than what I'm about to present. But for today, we are only going to focus on 6, all right? And the first one is analysis by definition. And what does it do? It provides an explanation of a complicated term or concept that might imply something different depending on the background, okay? Then the second is classification, and if we look at the root classify, it already indicates that it has to do with grouping and sorting, all right? So you take a topic and what you do, you divide it into different groups and you sort it. The third, compare and contrast. So to compare and contrast, I am sure there is some child or some student right now saying similarities and differences, and if you did, you are very correct, because that's exactly what comparing and contrasting entails, to look at things, objects, scenarios, events, and identify what the similarities and the difference are between those things, all right? Now we're going to look at the fourth one, and that is the cause and effects. And what does it do? It explores the causes of an event, a problem, an occurrence, and we look at the anticipated effects, okay? So what is expecting? Something happens, what is the effect of that? Then you have the process, and I'm sure again a light bulb went off somewhere. Process, you have stages. Again, the how to do something, how to do, how to create, how to make something. And this one is actually the most popular, okay? Because as I said, as early as even grade 3, you may have already been exposed to writing a story or an essay or composition, as we call it, on how to do something. And finally, we have the problem and solution. What happens is that the writer raises an issue or problem related to a particular situation and propose the best solution for that problem. So as I said, these are just 6, and we have the internet. You may find others, but for today, these are the 6 that we focus on. So on to the next slide, we will look now at the general 5-paragraph structure. And I want to reiterate, because I do not want any child to believe that they are limited and they should only write 5 paragraphs. But for today, and to offer you a template and to make it easier for you to figure out how it is that you would go about writing a composition, we are going to look at a 5-paragraph structure. All right? So the first part, the introduction, it is made up of 2 parts: an interesting, attention-grabbing hook, lead, and a clear, concise topic sentence or thesis statement. And I will just stop there and go over. And I must point out that I must stress on the words interesting, attention-grabbing, because a hook cannot just be any ordinary sentence. This is where your composition starts. This is where you get the reader's attention, okay? So one of the first parts of your introduction is the hook. And remember, I said initially that at the end, we will be having some little questions after, so it's in your interest. If, for example, now you don't have a pencil, maybe you should stop now, run, get a pencil, take a little note, because at the end, you will be questioned on some of the things in the presentation, okay? Then the second part, you have the concise, and concise just means to the point, topic sentence, or thesis statement. Now, it's a lot of words, so take it slow. What does it do? It briefly and clearly states what the essay is going to be about. One sentence, thesis statements, tells you what the general essay is going to be about, okay? And in most cases, how does it do that? It states the main idea of the 3 main body paragraphs. Now, I'm going to give you an example of each one later down. So if it's a little bit, confusing, that's okay. Hopefully, when I present the example, you'll get a clearer understanding of what I'm saying, all right? So just to reiterate, you have introduction, 2 parts, your hook, and I'm hearing somebody somewhere saying thesis statement, all right? Then you have the body. What does the body entail? The body is not just 1 part. It's a part made up of 3 parts, and that is because of the 5-paragraph structure. And those 3 parts have 3 well-defined paragraphs. Each paragraph contains a main idea and a topic sentence. These words for sure ring a bell, okay? Main idea and topic sentence. And what they do, they explain what the paragraph is about, and it includes 3 to 4 supporting details. Again, that's just a general template, but there are some children and students who are capable of writing more supporting details. But we just want to keep you safe within the limited time that you are generally given in your exams in school and even in your common entrance, because you only have 45 minutes, okay? So your three well-defined paragraphs, that's what makes up your body. Then you have the concluding paragraph. And what does it do? It summarizes the main ideas in a new way and restates the thesis. It's not, now I want to make it clear, it's not mandatory to restate the thesis, but what you do is you kind of try to go back to what you wrote about in the body, and then you kind of restate it some way in a new way. I also want to add that the concluding paragraph should not be very long. It's generally very short, and that also goes for the introduction, okay? So these are the 3 parts. Now you see 3, but remember the body has 3 well-defined paragraphs. So 1 plus the 3 body paragraphs plus the concluding paragraph, that makes it a 5-paragraph structure. Okay, so we're going to move to the next part. And as I said, I'm going to explain each part again. You have the first part, and I know a student, I think I heard a student say introduction, and these are just some of the things that will come in the introduction. You got to have a hook, a thesis statement. It's generally very brief, and it gives a little bit of background information. All right, we are going to go a little deeper into that with an example of what the hook is. All right, and if I'm not too sure if everybody can see the picture, but this gives a very good idea of what the hook does. And if you notice, there are 2 students, writers just like you, and every one of their hooks has different words. Some of these words are listed here and here as well. You have onomatopoeia, you have interjections, questions, quotes, definitions, and that's exactly what a hook is. You start your composition with something like a question, a riddle, a quote, an idiom, definition, onomatopoeia, interjection, an opinion, a little background information, and you do that in a way that the reader feels like, hey, I have this paper in front of me, I want to read more, okay? So what I did is I got on a composition online, and you'll get a good example of what a hook is, all right? You can read with me. Have you ever wondered where all those new foods on the supermarket shelves come from? Hundreds of new foods are invented every year, and each one is the result of an inventor at work. Potato chips, chewing gum, and peanut butter are three popular foods that were invented. Now I highlighted what is supposed to be the hook. And I'm asking you now, I'm sure you can see what kind of hook was used. And if you said question, you are absolutely correct. The hook was used here was a question. What the writer did was ask a question so that it captivated the reader's attention. And that's exactly what a hook does, okay? So we are going to move on. And the second part of the introduction is a thesis statement. So the first part of your introduction was the hook. If you said that, you're correct. And the second part of the introduction is the thesis statement, all right? And what is a thesis statement? A thesis statement is one sentence that expresses the general main idea of a research paper or an essay, or as we commonly say, composition, all right? And if we look at the thesis statement, this picture gives a very good explanation of what a thesis statement does. It shows the thesis statement attached to the body paragraphs. So that sentence gives you an idea of what comes in the different body paragraphs, okay? So here is a sample thesis. It is the same paragraph that we read a while ago, but what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to read everything, but I'm going to focus on the highlighted section. Here we see potato chips, chewing gum, and peanut butter are three popular foods that were invented. So what that thesis statement does, it gives you an idea that this is what your body paragraphs is going to be about. That you're going to have one paragraph about potato chips, one about chewing gum, and one about peanut butter, okay? So we're going to move on. And just to show you the hook and the thesis statement together, then we move on to the second part. Again, remember you're not limited to three, but for this structure, you do your three. And in each paragraph, you're going to have a topic sentence with supporting details. And students, you often forget your concluding sentence. We need that sentence to show us that our paragraph is over. Okay, so maybe in another time, we can look at how to write concluding sentences. So here is the body paragraph. In the interest of time, I'm not going to read all, but if you recall, we said potato chips was one of the topics. So we have today, potato chips are the biggest selling snack food in Canada. So you can see that this sentence already gives you an idea that we are going to speak about potato chips. All right, and that would be our, and if you said topic sentence, you're absolutely correct. And all the other sentences, that would be the details. Then you have paragraph 2. We mentioned chewing gum, and as you can see, the earliest chewing gum was invented by the Aboriginal peoples who used the resin from the black spruce tree for a kind of chewy snack. So that's exactly what your topic sentence does. It gives you a sense of what your paragraph is going to be about, and we know it's chewing gum, and you notice there are different supporting details speaking about chewing gum all through. Bubble gum, gum, that's our details. They must be connected with our topic sentence. And then you have the third body paragraph, and it says it's hard to believe that 4 out of every 5 homes in Canada has peanut butter in the cupboard. And remember, we mentioned peanut butter in the thesis statement, okay? So again, your topic sentence gives you a sense of what your paragraph is going to be about. Here you have peanut butter, all three. If you just skim through quickly, you will see peanut butter. Okay, so that's what the topic sentence does. It tells you what your the main idea, I should say. All right, but I'm sure you already knew that. So finally, you have the conclusion, and that's the conclusion, to conclude, to end. That's the last part of your expository essay. And what does it do? Again, if you recall, the conclusion should not be very, and if you said short, it should not be very long. It should be brief. You're correct. And here we see that you're supposed to restate your thesis or speak about the main topics in a different way. So we have our food is always changing thanks to inventors who continue to think up new foods. So go ahead, crunch that potato chips, chew that gum, and spread that peanut butter. Perhaps someday you will create a food of your own. So you state your thesis in a new way. You state the 3 main ideas of your body in a new way, and it shouldn't be very long. All right, so that is what your concluding paragraph looks like. So that basically makes up the 5 structure the 5-paragraph expository essay. And I know many of you all took your notes. So here are a few questions just to give you a sense, just to see if we caught it. If not, you can always look at it again and hopefully next time you'll get everything correct, okay? Review. Question 1. What is the first part of a general expository essay? I'm giving you a chance to click, okay? I know students are shouting answers right now. Let's see if you shouted the correct answer. The first part is the introduction. All right? Next question. What are the 2 parts which make up the introduction? What 2 parts make up the introduction? All right, if you said hook, and also the thesis statement, and let me just add, sometimes you will find that the hook is also called the leader. I did not mention that, but you may have seen that I had hook/lead. That's because the hook is often called the leader as well. All right, so the 2 parts which make up the introduction is the hook and the thesis statement. What is the role of the hook or the lead? What is its job? All right, and if you said to grab or to captivate or to capture the reader's attention, you are absolutely correct. Okay, so tap yourself on the back. Then you have, next question, what is the thesis statement? What is the thesis statement? The thesis statement is the sentence which generally comes at the end of the introduction and tells the main idea of the body paragraphs. And in this case, we have 3 body paragraphs. And what do we call the second part of the expository essay? So, if you said body, again, you're absolutely correct, okay? And then you have, how many body paragraphs are there in the 5-paragraph essay structure? The answer, there are 3 body paragraphs. All right, so you have the introduction, your 3 body paragraphs, and you have the concluding paragraph. That makes 5. Next question, what should each body paragraph contain? Answer, a topic sentence with supporting details. Then we move on. What is the role of the topic sentence in the body paragraph? What does it do? And I'm sure students somewhere mentioned that it expresses the main idea, because I'm dead certain that your teachers taught that to you. And then we go on. What is the role of the topic sentence in the body paragraph? What is the role of the topic sentence in the body paragraph? Again, it's kind of repeated, but I guess to make the point more clear, to express the main idea of that paragraph. And what is the final part of the expository essay? And I guess you said concluding paragraph. If you said so, you're absolutely correct. What should one do in the concluding paragraph? Summarize key points and restate the thesis statement. So that takes us to the end, but here we have 10 useful tips for you. So first tip, before you write, always organize your thoughts before doing anything. Second tip, ensure that you make a plan before writing. Always plan, 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 plan. Third tip, choose a catchy hook or lead, because remember, the hook does what? It captures the reader's attention. Then, ensure that you have a strong thesis statement which highlights the main idea of each body paragraph. 5, ensure that each body paragraph has a topic sentence with supporting details. Number 7, use effective transitions. And just quickly to tell you that transitions involve moving from one paragraph to another. That can be done in another lesson. 8, because it's expository, we cannot just go getting things from our head. We write from a factual point of view. The information has to be the truth. Okay, it has to be facts. 9, summarize key points in your concluding paragraph. And finally, maintain a positive attitude towards writing, because writing is super, super, super important, okay? So that takes me to the end of today's lesson. I'm sure you learned something. I wish everybody a wonderful day. Take care.